Welcome to Virtual Expat, where we investigate the interplay between living overseas and living online. What happens to our online presence, our online persona, when we change countries? Does anything happen? Does one support the other? Does one conflict with the other? I don't know, but I wanted to find out, so I'm going to interview a lot of expats in order to get to the heart of this question. Is there interplay between our online selves and our geographically varied self? What can I say about Ronald? Okay, let me set the scene, because there needs to be a story for this introduction. I started to listen to Ronald's new podcast, Creativity Root, very recently, and I had it on my calendar to actually contact him once I completed all 5 episodes that he already had out in the world. But for some reason, I woke up on the day that this podcast was recorded, and I thought, that's it. I'm not going to wait till I listen to all 5 episodes. I'm so inspired by what he's doing and his presence. Let's contact him. So I sent him a quick message via WeChat, and lo and behold, he lives in Nanjing, and he was on his way to Shanghai, where I live. Fast forward a few hours, and I was able to interview Ronald that same evening. How in the world that happened just feels like fate. And the 2 hours that we talked feels like it could have been tripled, and I wouldn't even have noticed. He is such an intelligent, interesting, creative, sensitive person, and I am so happy that whatever it was in the universe that kicked my butt that day into not waiting until it felt like just the right time, that I was completely prepared for this conversation. I'm so glad I had this conversation when I did, and I am really thankful that he had a flexible enough schedule to squeeze me in that day. So thank you, Ronald, and thank you to everybody that's going to make it through the 2 hours of our conversation. If you do, I think you will really, really thank yourself. Well, thank you, Ronald, for joining me today.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Yay! All right, so what we normally do in the beginning is the super awkward, you have 30 seconds, introduce yourself to our audience.
Yeah, I hate that part. No, it's okay. I'm Ronald Paredes. I'm a graphic designer and an artist from Caracas, Venezuela. Mm-hmm. I've been in China for 12 years. Mm-hmm. And I've been very lucky, actually, because since I came to China, I have been doing the exact same thing that I was doing in my country, just doing design and doing art. So I haven't been, in the necessity of teaching English or something like that I wouldn't do anyway.
You lucky duck.
Yeah.
Where have you lived in China? I know you're in Nanjing now.
Yeah, always in Nanjing.
Always in Nanjing?
I have been always in Nanjing.
Whoa.
I never moved. Only visited other places, but always in Nanjing.
Wow. Okay then.
Yeah, because I got a job there, and my family is there, and my kids, and so I toyed with the idea of moving to other places, but it never really happened.
Yeah.
That was going okay there.
Wow. Is China the only place that you've lived outside of Venezuela?
No, I was in Europe. I lived in England for like a year, almost a year. Then, for some circumstances, I moved to Italy. Mm-hmm. It is funny.
You're smiling like there's a woman involved, and I don't want to get too personal, but no, okay.
It was a fat guy.
Okay.
It was the immigration officer. Who refused me and sent me back to Italy during some holidays.
Oh, jeez.
Deported, actually.
Oh, joy.
He just didn't believe that I have the means to support myself.
Yeah.
And he just sent me back with the excuse that you could ask the visa in Italy, and when I got to Italy, they told me no, you cannot. So I didn't want to stay illegal in England. I didn't want to stay illegal in Italy, so I stayed in Italy the 3 months that we get.
Yeah.
And then I went back to my country. That was in 2003.
Yeah.
But living in other countries other than that, no.
Okay.
Just visited other places.
Yeah. Well, those are three very different areas: China, Italy, and England.
Yeah.
Those are quite different.
It was an experience.
Yeah,
Tragic.
I bet. Oh
Yeah.
no! You had to stay 3 months in Italy. Oh, torture.
You know what? Because it was funny because the officer told me that I could ask the visa in Italy. I just packed the bag for like a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And all my life was back in England. So I couldn't get back to England to pick up my books and my music and my clothes and everything.
Yeah.
It was in England.
This is one of my worst nightmares as an expat.
It's horrible.
Every time, I don't do visa runs anymore because I'm too old to do the jobs where you work for a month while they do your visa and then you get your real visa. I don't do that anymore. But I used to. And sometimes it would happen the second year. Like you'd have that awkward period where you're like, am I staying? Am I going? I'm going to go to this country and then come back. And I was always like, what if I can't get back in?
Exactly.
Yeah, it always was in my mind. It hasn't happened yet, but okay, do I have wood? There we go. But it could still happen, I suppose.
Yeah.
But
so you just carry your valuables, your most valuable your treasures with you everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, which is usually like my computer, important documents, and my shoes.
For me, it's books.
Yeah. Well, those I can buy again. But I've found that most places in the world have really crappy walking shoes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, no, I would carry books if I had more space, but...
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, and I hate that whole process.
It was a good lesson on detachment from material things.
Yeah. Did you ever get your stuff back?
My CDs?
All the stuff that was in England that you didn't have with you?
Just my CDs and some books. Because my best friend who was keeping my stuff in there, he moved to Spain, and then I went to visit him after 10 years.
Well, we couldn't ask him to keep it for 10 years.
Yeah, but he was a good friend and he kept the stuff. He still keeps some stuff in there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so we're going to go back to 2003. What were you doing online, if anything? It's still pretty early in the internet game. So
there was nothing to do online.
Nothing to do online. When did you start? When do you remember starting to do stuff online? Even just email or anything?
You know, the first thing the first let's say relevant thing that I made online or that I did online was to find my first wife. And that's why I came to China.
Oh, okay. So that was through a website? Like a dating website?
High Five, it was the name.
Right.
That website existed. I think that website got absorbed by Friendster.
Oh, I remember Friendster.
Yeah.
Is that still around?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But Friendster High Five got absorbed by Friendster. Before it was two different websites.
Yeah.
And that's where I met my first wife.
Oh, okay.
And
so you were doing dating websites before even email?
Yeah, but you know the funny thing is that wasn't a dating website. It was like just friendship.
Okay, yeah.
And I always have this thing for Chinese girls, and I found this gorgeous Chinese girl in that website. I just talk to her.
Yeah.
And we started just like online dating. It was between High Five and Skype.
Ah, okay.
That was in the year 2005.
That's still pretty early on in the online sphere. Okay.
And I was working in an advertising agency, and I was getting paid for talking to my wife.
Good job. Check.
Yeah.
Let's go backwards. Right now, you've got a podcast and a website.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
The podcast, the first was the website. When I came to China, I was already building websites by myself. I was programming in HTML, very basic stuff. I did study in HTML and Flash back in my country. And at the time, people would build the entire website in Flash.
Yep.
It was very heavy and very complicated. And I never learned XML. It was the language for Flash. Because it's super complicated, and with new version, you will have to learn the language like from scratch. basically. It's
Was Flash pre-CSS or has CSS existed?
previous.
Previous to.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay.
It was actually I discovered CSS, or I started using CSS once I was in China. But there is a website. Actually, there is a website from that time that is still online. One of my clients.
What?
He haven't updated yet.
From 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
From 10 years ago.
And I made that website in HTML completely.
Yeah.
And he's not using it really because now the website, the clients, they require that they can update the website and they can add stuff by themselves. And so
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore. There's some level of programmation that I don't have.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped offering web design.
Yeah.
But at the beginning, we'll put all the website together in HTML.
Yeah.
But there was not really a lot of activity to do. There was I had there was this website with the three people, the logo. It's very popular. It's like the first platform for friends.
People. Oh gosh, let me think. If I reach far back, I remember MySpace, Hotmail, MySpace has three people in the logo.
Yeah, it's like a three little people.
Really?
Like a three eyes.
You would remember logos. You do graphic design. Yeah. I remember like really wanting the music to be better than it was. Just hitting play all the time, going no. Huh. Okay. Well,
So I have my MySpace.
Yeah.
Like everybody did. But I wasn't really focused on online media. I remember when YouTube was created, because being in the agency, my creative director, he is also a filmmaker.
Oh, okay.
He was so excited about YouTube.
Yeah. They used to have a 5-minute limit or something, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank God.
It wasn't at the very beginning, but it was in the news everywhere. This is YouTube, this new platform.
Yeah.
And I really didn't understand what it was about. He tried to explain to me what YouTube was about, but he was excited because for the first time you can produce videos, short videos, and you can put them on, and you can have your channel and that kind of stuff. I do remember when that happened.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing anything. I was focused on coming to China.
Yeah. So when did you start to do stuff other than work online?
That would be, honestly, my presence online.
Yeah.
Like a presence online that I would maintain.
Yeah.
Was in 2008 when with Facebook.
Yeah. So a good decade. That's a pretty decent amount of time to be online, yeah.
Yeah.
2008.
It was at the beginning, probably late 2007.
Yeah. That's about when I left Facebook.
Well, it was about time.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I was working in a school. I was doing design for a school, and the boss of the school was the one who introduced me to Facebook. But because it was supposed to be a platform for schools, for universities, and this lady, she wanted to work with universities in the US to educate the kids in her school to go study in the US.
Yeah.
So she mentioned Facebook, and I got hooked in the Facebook thing.
Oh my God, I was so addicted.
And it was like a good year putting stuff in there.
2004. My magic information boxes with Facebook existed in 2004.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, I wasn't.
But being in China, that was like the big boom.
Yeah.
And it happened that we had the Olympics in Beijing.
Yes.
And everything was wonderful until the Olympics were over.
Until they were over?
Yeah.
So you had Facebook during the Beijing Olympics?
Yes.
There wasn't the
The,
firewall thing.
just when no, they couldn't block it because it would be very controversial to have to blocking all the platforms and all the social media while the media have all the eyes on China. So they have to wait until the Olympics were over and all the fuss was over to do their thing.
Which is kind of the opposite of what happens now. Because when there's a big event now in China,
Now they don't care.
now the firewall gets stronger and you have to wait for the event to be over. And
We're about to hit that is now.
We are,
It's between now and between August, September, October.
Yeah.
It's the time that things start getting difficult in China.
What is somebody was talking about a conference that's coming to China soon. What is that conference?
The CCCP, the CPPP government.
Is that the one that happens twice a year or something?
I think it's only once a year. Yeah.
Okay.
That is the whole Communist Party.
Yeah.
They have the conference.
Yes.
And
Great.
in that time we are completely isolated. Yeah.
That's when the new season's coming out. Yay, listeners, yay! Oh my gosh, I timed this badly.
So it's like everybody's backing up with 2 and 3 VPNs and because they'll get blocked and
Okay. I'll definitely be working on my
start
Chinese
preparing,
language skills then. Yeah.
Well, it happens.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, they're only blocking mobile because on computers you can still
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly though, a huge portion of what I do is on my phone.
So you should get prepared.
Yeah. If it's for a short time, I don't care because I've been back a year and a half and it's been happening on and off.
Yeah, it happens it's like 2 months. But it's funny because during those 2 months, then they start the rumors that from January it's completely,
Do you remember last year when they were like, in January they're gonna completely shut down everything,
Yeah.
no VPN's gonna work. Here we sit, I'm totally gonna jinx this now. But here we sit in August 2018, 8 months after it was supposed to happen, and so far, okay-ish.
Yeah, no, actually the government, they send communication, they said they're not gonna block anything. It's not gonna happen, it's just rumor that's what the official government apparently said that.
There's also a rumor that Google is working on a China-approved browser.
I heard
search
something
engine.
about that Google has been trying for a while too.
Yeah. And they were interviewing, I listened to a podcast today, funny that, and they were interviewing Chinese people and they were saying, I kind of got out of the habit because it hasn't been readily available, so now I'm so used to Baidu, if Google comes back, why do I need it?
And actually, Baidu was making claims that they were saying that it doesn't matter if Google comes back with all functionality, full functionality, they would beat them anyway.
Yeah, I bet they would.
I doubt.
The thing is, if Google comes back with the Chinese version, is it going to be as accurate or usable as what they're already used to with Baidu?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, so that's the thing. If Google comes back,
are they coming back? Yeah.
Is it going to be good enough to be usable for that audience? Because it wouldn't be for the foreigners. It would be for the giant 1.4 billion Chinese population.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would rather just not need a VPN.
Exactly. I want to talk to my mom without a VPN.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay. So Facebook in 2008, and so that was that just like keeping in touch with people, meeting people, like what kinds of things were you doing on there?
I was amazed. The best thing about Facebook is that you could find people that you didn't see in 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's the most, until now, I think it's amazing. You can keep in touch with people who probably you're never going to see in your life again, but somehow you're still in touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with the situation that we have in my country. The unfortunate situation that I was just listening to a podcast on the way here. They say that we have the migration of Venezuelans around the continent is the biggest in the history of the continent.
Whoa.
and
Yeah.
we have surpassed the Syrian migration.
Yeah.
So everybody now is a lot of Venezuelan people. They're using social media and doing a lot of work online, not only to raise awareness about what's going on in my country, but
Right.
to keep in touch with their families and friends.
Right.
Now it's essential for us, for Venezuelan people. It's
Yeah.
essential. You cannot be out of social media.
You gotta stay in touch no matter what happens. Yeah.
All friends, family,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's on social media now,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everybody's making videos. Everybody's posting on Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah.
It's a big WhatsApp. It's major for us
Yeah.
in Venezuela.
Yeah,
WhatsApp
yeah.
is essential.
It is. When did that get so popular? Because about 2 or 3 years ago, I started really hearing everybody talking about WhatsApp, but I don't remember when it first came onto the scene. Do you remember when you started using it?
There was a gap, actually. There was a gap because, I started. I don't really remember. I think it was in 2000. It was definitely before 2010. And I even deleted it from my phone because I never
Yeah.
used it.
Yeah.
But then when this situation started happening in my country,
Yeah.
we started using WhatsApp again.
Yeah.
And it's been 5 years
Yeah.
probably. And my sister is in Mexico.
Yeah.
We have a group in WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And then it's my sister in Mexico, my brother in Peru, my mom in Caracas, and me in China. So we have the group with all the
Right.
flags.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And that's how we conference. And
Yeah. Do you think your mom will stay through whatever happens next, or do you think she'll go and live with one of your siblings, or?
it is complicated, but
Yeah.
we are trying to get her to come to Mexico or Peru.
For sure.
Or,
For sure. The inflation, they were talking about the inflation being like kind
It's
of a
insane.
wheelbarrow-esque kind of.
it's projected to hit the 1,000,000% at the end of the year.
How is that possible?
I cannot make the calculation.
I can't even think of what that means from one day to the next as far as buying something. That's.
I don't know, it's insane. The price.
Yeah.
Actually, many places you cannot find the price
Yeah.
because from the moment you grab it from the stand to the moment you're gonna pay,
Right.
they have changed the price already.
Oh my goodness.
So it is absolutely ridiculous, and it doesn't seem to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the WhatsApp has been our way to be connected.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And a lot of people are using WhatsApp for that kind of thing to keep
Yeah.
connected.
And it's not to be grim and tragic, but I found out about my dad passing because of Facebook last year.
Whoa.
Almost, exactly 1 year ago. I was going to bed, and like everybody does,
Yeah.
checking Facebook before going to bed,
Of course.
and and I see one of my cousins.
Yeah.
Say, oh, Paredes, he was a good man, and you know, you can imagine my heart dropped, and he was jumping to WhatsApp,
Yeah.
and
What do you do? Did you?
being so far is just
Yeah.
horrible. That's the most horrible thing that can happen.
Right.
You know.
Oh my gosh. That's just like, do you reply? Do you contact others? Like, what do you just?
Yeah, no, I just contacted
Shocked.
my sister and my close family.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I had another cousin calling me in WhatsApp,
Yeah.
but I didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Actually, I never answered the phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. And then using exactly the same WhatsApp to talk to a very close friend in Spain
Yeah.
and another close friend in Italy.
Yeah.
It's so unbelievable, and it's so sad that it's now banned in China. You know,
They banned Reddit last week too.
they did.
Yeah.
I don't use Reddit a lot.
No,
but,
I don't either, but it seemed like the most unassuming site with like not very controversial stuff. I thought, like, I've only been on a few times and been like, not really my thing. But I was like, really, that? What's left?
What is it? It was controversial. I don't know. What's
I don't know.
Left for the rest.
I really didn't think so. So it sounds like you use the internet mostly for communication.
Yeah, until I started taking, well, there was a 3 years ago, I was working with a friend, American guy. We were working on a social venture company. We were trying to do a company to give support to people in impoverished countries. And we used a lot of social media. That's when we got serious about using Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. But we always are we're very focused on the social media that we use, because a lot of people have. It is a lot of work to maintain social media.
It's a pain in my ass.
It's terribly difficult. It is.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it well, you just waste the time. You know, if you don't focus, and not all the social media, people make the mistake. Not all the social media work the same. They are very specific, and they have a very specific target and a very specific purpose. So you use, for example, right now I don't use Twitter because I don't really need it. As a visual artist, Twitter is not really my platform.
Sure.
But I'm an avid user of Instagram because it's completely visual.
Yep.
So those are my platform. But at the time, we needed to raise awareness about what we were doing. So we had to have a strategy to use Twitter, a strategy to use YouTube. And you have to plan the post that you're gonna make, and you have to accordingly to the time and the sun that you want to hit, and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Did you guys use one of those planners where you could like?
We did.
Yeah. Which one did you use?
Well, there was another. My business partner, he was in charge of that. He was the savvy on that aspect. My work was to produce the content in terms of the design, sometimes even writing, but he was the one posting, and we did some of this platform. We used this platform to program the post, because otherwise doing it by yourself by hand, it gets messy.
Oh yeah. And we get busy during the day.
Yeah.
As much as you're like, okay, every day or every afternoon or every evening I have to do this, other stuff happens. It's
but
nice
it is a new department in most companies now. You have a social media department because it takes so much of your time. You need to have people dedicated to just do that. Just do that. So that was the time when I was really learning how to use the social media and how you can use your post to influence. So there was at the time that I was getting in touch with podcasting, because we would also podcast.
That's right, because you started that in 2016, right?
Yes.
So wait, can we back up? What is a social venture?
The idea was to create a company that it will make money like any other corporation. But we will have a top to our salaries. All our salary will be tapped.
Gasp. Okay.
And it will be to what we consider a reasonable salary.
Right.
To live a decent life a year. And whatever it comes over that, it will be dedicated to support people in other areas. Like, for example, we will create a team. I had a background in advertising and marketing, and of course graphic design. So that will be my area. There was another guy in education. There was another guy in business and management. So, for example, you know this concept of micro loans?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it was something like that. You come to us and you say, well, I want to open an organic coffee shop. And we will give you the resources, not only financially, but also, the support in marketing, advertising, management.
Right.
And that money, once you start running, some of that money will go back to the company.
Gotcha.
And that money will, the overhead will be used to support somebody else.
Right.
It will become a chain. and it will be used to lift people out of poverty, basically. So, for example, an idea that I had back then, a big issue that we have in India is people are dying because they don't have the culture of washing their hands before eating, which is a very simple stuff.
Yeah.
But it's happening, and it shouldn't be happening. And I thought, well, what if we take some women or some people in some village in India, and we teach them how to produce soap, cosmetic soaps. You know this brand of soap like Lush? They have this beautiful soap and you know the bath products. You can have those produced in India with natural products. And at the same time, you use that platform to educate people about the importance of hygiene. And you help them to produce money and give them education about that. So it's that kind of stuff that we were trying to do.
Is that still going on? You started 2015.
No, it was very, very difficult. It is a battle, you know. People find it like funny, like a conspiracy theory, but there is a system that is really hard to battle when you're working in this kind of stuff.
I believe it.
And there are people who do not want to take people out of poverty. There is a lot of people who need people oppressed. So it gets difficult. Sometimes it gets difficult to produce this kind of work.
Did you, when you were hitting those walls with people, did you get a very clear no, or did people just try to make things difficult to move forward?
There was not really an entity or a person or a group of persons trying to make things difficult for us. It's more of a system that is established. So it gets difficult to get resources, it gets difficult to reach certain areas, it gets difficult to find the support from some people. So everything has to be done like hand to hand, you know, and sometimes if you don't have the money to start, it can be very steep. So, but you know, it is possible, and we still think it's possible. We're not working on that together anymore. But for example, I found out that the cost of and homelessness in the US, for example, is not that high. It's not that high, and you can do it in a year.
If you were to help the people.
If you allocate the resources, like there is a video that is still online in YouTube. They said that if you take a quarter of what people spend in corporate trips and in corporate parties and that kind of stuff, you allocate that money into and
Are you enjoying this conversation about our virtualness and our geographicness colliding? Me too. Hey, I would love to interview you. Do you live in a country that is not your home country? Let's talk about your experience. Let's do it. Contact me at stephfuccio, STEPHFUCCIO @gmail.com, or you can hit me up on any of my social media platforms. I am Steph Fuccio on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. So contact me. Let's line this up. I would love to get your opinion into these questions out into the world. Let's do it. That's the thing that hurts my head, is I know this money is out there, and yet we don't do anything.
But there is a mix of what I was telling you before, that some people need these other people being in those conditions, and there is a lot of unawareness, and there is a lot of people simply not caring. You know. There is a big misconception, and I know we're taking a big tangent here, but there is a big misconception that people think that for you to do good, you need to have a lot of money and a lot of time to volunteer, and most people say, well, I would like to do something for the poor people, but I don't have the time. I have my hands full with my kids and my work, but you don't really need a lot of time or a lot of money. You know, you just need a little bit of time. And sometimes these people don't even want money. I have a friend, she wanted to start a website, about socks for homeless people.
Yeah. Oh.
And most people don't know this, but homeless people, sometimes they don't even want food. They need socks. Socks is the item that they need the most.
Yeah.
So she wanted to start, and there is a company, there is a website that does this. That you buy socks and they donate another pair to
Do you know
the
the name
homeless.
of that site?
Pompas.
Okay.
It's a company, they produce socks.
We're going to put that in the show notes.
Yeah,
folks.
really cool. Pompas.
Just wow.
They're doing that.
Yeah.
So our idea, what I wanted to do with her, is just to create, put artwork in the socks and having artists putting their art in socks.
Yeah.
And basically the same concept. Because producing socks in China is very cheap.
Very, very cheap.
That's another thing that drives me crazy. How much resources we waste here in China.
Yeah.
The other day I saw a documentary. I saw a man in Africa who saved a year and a half of money to buy a bicycle so he can take his product to the next village to sell. And how much his life changed after he got the bicycle.
Right.
How many bicycles will you see dumped in the street here in China?
Piles of shared
It's
bikes.
Unbelievable. It's ridiculous.
Piles of shared bikes.
Then I always think how many lives could be changed if those bicycles were shipped to Africa, for example.
There really isn't a lack of stuff in the world. It's a lack of getting it to the right people. And that's the thing. The more I go to new countries and see different situations, I realize there's no scarcity. It's a matter of people kind of holding back and saying, but I might need it later. Nobody needs this many bicycles.
We don't.
No.
But anybody, they are available now online. You can see the bicycles dumped from space.
Yeah.
From the space.
I know.
No, from drones. You see the drones and the piles are
bicycle
immense.
graveyards. Yeah, sorry for the folks who are not living in China. There's been I know there were shared bikes in Portland, and I think maybe somewhere on the East Coast in the U.S. and I saw some in London actually too. So there were a ton of them, like Mobike and Ofo, and what were some of the other?
The blue bike and
they're green ones, I think.
The Mobikes are the orange one. Ofo.
Yeah, orange and
Ofo, they are yellow ones. Yeah, those are the two ones that are international.
Those are the two. Yeah, I rode a Mobike in Thailand last month.
Yeah.
With my app from China, it actually worked over there. It's just amazing, but they overproduced them. Apparently, the companies that made them made the money with the grants that came in, and then they didn't maintain the bikes.
Yeah.
Even though on the app you can like report things, and sometimes maybe they do fix them, but apparently there's a lot.
It is cheaper to produce the bike than replace it or fix it. That's the problem.
But when you have the biggest population in the world and you're producing things for that population and you make waste, it's really destructive.
Even here, you see they become a nuisance because you're walking on the pathway and
you can't cross the street in some places. Yeah, and they've started to have. Have you seen the signs that say like no shared bikes beyond this point? So they're starting to ban them in certain places. When I was in Dalian last year for work, in the center of the city, you couldn't ride a motorcycle, an e-bike, or bicycle. They were just like, forget it, just no. Too many accidents, too much is happening. It's not gonna happen in downtown.
I see those bicycles abandoned in the most ridiculous places.
Yeah.
In the middle of the highway.
Yeah.
You can see it.
It's crazy. They should.
You don't even know how it got there in the first place.
I know.
Ridiculous. In top of trees.
They just ride to places and just leave them there, and it's like, okay, I know that's the whole thing with shared bikes, but somewhere where somebody would actually pick it up, please.
That's the thing. There are the places that people shouldn't even be riding bicycles to begin with.
I know. Somebody was describing the path to a place yesterday to me, and they said, but you're only on the highway for a little while. And I'm like, no, that's not a bicycle trip. In no world. Like highways here are even bigger than highways in Los Angeles, folks. They're like, what, 6, 8, 10, 12 lanes across. They're huge. I would never be on a bicycle on that place.
And some people do,
Okay, we gotta go back online.
Well, that's an online business, actually.
Right? It really is. It really, they should start selling them to someplace else. That could be because they already got the funding for the initial start. Now they need to get rid of the products that are just cluttering up everywhere here. Wow. Okay, so as far as social media in China, How are your language skills? And no judgment, mine suck.
Oh, my Chinese is terrible.
Is it terrible?
This is terrible.
Okay. Can you read? Like, are you on any social media in
China? No,
Yeah.
other than WeChat.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the funny because the kind of art that I do, Chinese people don't seem to like anymore, or ever.
Huh.
They don't. Chinese people are very traditional in their taste.
Okay.
So for a unless you are in a big city like Shanghai, where probably the market is more, all the people are more educated. I don't mean that in the wrong way. It doesn't mean that, but people have a wider perspective.
Sure.
And other than that, people seem to like more traditional stuff. You know, the landscape, and the portrait, and
the very, very traditional.
Yeah, the very traditional.
Thousands of years ago kind of art. Wow.
So what I do is not at all like that.
Yeah.
It's very experimental.
Yeah.
It's not abstract, but it's very different, and a lot of people don't like. So China's not really my market.
Right.
That's why I use Instagram. You know, even when it's blocked, it's banned in China.
Yeah.
Instagram to me is still very big. And I have a website that I never maintained.
Yeah.
Now that I'm doing the podcast, that I rescued the podcast, I'm gonna tell you why I had the idea of the podcast. I was thinking, what can I do other than design that can satisfy the need that I have to help and can help me to diversify my activities in China. And I said, well, I'm a designer, I'm an artist. That's creative work. I do I love psychology also.
That comes through loud and clear.
Yeah. And
I think when I listen to your podcast, if I can interrupt, which I am, I think of you like a creativity psychologist.
Yes.
Or a creativity philosopher, but you're much more pragmatic, so I lean on the psychologist
exactly,
side.
And that's the pragmatism that I try to be very emphatic, because I don't believe in being positive for the sake of being positive.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't like when people tell me, if you have a blockage in your mind, just go for a walk and take a bath. It works.
Yeah.
But I want people to understand why it works. What is the process behind that? What is happening?
Yeah.
Because we have too many creative coaches. And who goes to these people? It's the people who already is in a creative career.
Wait, do we have a lot of creative coaches? This is a thing?
In the world.
Really?
Yeah, we do. A lot.
I had no idea there was such a thing as creative
but
coaches.
But that's the thing, that a lot of people... Yeah, because a lot of people, they take the same idea of... I'm going to tell you how to be creative.
Yeah.
Just relax, take a walk,
Oh.
Sing a song, laugh.
Oh, that kind of thing. So they're not actually helping them find their...
Probably they do.
Yeah.
But they're not going to the core.
Okay.
And another thing is, what happened with the people who are not, or they don't consider themselves creative? What happened with the accountant, or what happened with the lady who cleaned the streets? We are all creative. So these people have this ability. Naturally, we're wired to be creative. We don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
We don't know how to access that ability.
We push it away pretty early on.
Yeah, from
in
the
a
school.
lot of societies. Yeah.
From the school, especially in China. And being in China, that was my biggest drive. Because in the Chinese education system, creativity is completely shut down from a very, very early age.
Yeah.
And education is based on repetition, memorization, and you are not allowed to analyze. I remember I was shocked by a friend who told me in the university that they will be giving a text to analyze, but once they were finished reading the text, the teacher will give them the conclusions. And my friend will say, but I have a different... No. These are the conclusions, and this is what it is. At a university level, and I found that so tragic, And it's not that a lot of people think that the Chinese people are not creative. And that's not true.
No.
They're not being allowed to be creative.
It's not true, because in so many other parts of society, the creativity just absolutely comes out in huge waves. Getting around...
Because it's like water, you know.
Yeah.
That's what people don't understand. Creativity
Yeah.
is a basic human necessity. And in one of my podcasts, I talk about that. It is actually in the Maslow pyramid of human needs.
Yeah.
At the top, actually. So when you stop being creative, you lose connections with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you force people to stop breathing or stop eating, you know. It's a human necessity. It's a human need.
Well, I think a lot of people think, okay, if I'm not in a creative profession and I'm not producing something creatively, I'm not creative. But it's so much more than that.
That is the misconception that I want to debunk.
Yeah.
I want people to understand that to be creative, you don't have to be painting or writing or making music.
Yeah.
You can be doing any kind of work and being creative doing that.
That was a good time to remind them of the name of the podcast.
The podcast is called the Creativity Roots Podcast.
Now, I have a confession to make because I haven't actually been to your website yet. But you talk about going to the website from the podcast, so now I'm that listener who hasn't done my homework.
Well, the idea of having a website, because I'm inviting people to send me their creations.
Yeah.
Because I want to encourage people to do creative work. So, for example, you're not a writer or you're not a musician, but suddenly you felt the urge to write something. I want you to send it over to me.
Yeah.
And I will show this work without any judgment. And I want to find a way for people to feel comfortable creating. So, for example, somebody send me a picture or a drawing or a painting. I need a platform where to show this work. I cannot show it in the podcast, obviously. So I need a website. We're not there yet.
That's a good point. Because you have read poems and you have played music of some of your listeners, but you can't show pictures.
Exactly. So I need a platform where I can show people visual work.
Right.
And what I do is, for example, if you're a painter, I will ask you to record probably 1 minute or 2 minutes. You introducing yourself, introducing your work.
Yeah.
And then I will post that in the podcast, and then invite you to see the work in the website.
Right. Okay, so is it mostly just that? It's just displaying other people's...
It's for displaying the people's work.
Yeah. Now, I know you're a graphic designer for work, but do you produce anything for fun? Other than the podcast, like anything visual?
For example... 2 years ago, I wrote a book for my son.
Aww.
I should have brought one for you.
That's really
I owe you that
sweet.
one.
Oh my gosh.
I owe you
What's
one.
the story? What's the story?
Because at the time when I wrote the book, I was separated. I wasn't living with my son. I would come to stay with him on the weekends, and I would put him to bed.
Yeah.
So it's a bedtime story that we made up together.
Those are the best. And you did pictures in it and stuff too?
So because my son was born in the year of the rabbit, and he has pretty big feet, and his favorite color was the green color. Now he changed.
Yeah.
So it's the rabbit with the big shoes, and the shoes are green.
Yeah.
So it's the story. It's a little bit an analogy of the situation in China with the pollution and the situation I was going through personally.
Yeah.
So the story is like this rabbit has a farm where he grows broccoli and carrots, and there are these black clouds that come into the garden and they ruin the plantation. And then he goes into searching for the rain.
Yeah.
So at the end he makes friends, he finds the rain. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but yeah.
Is it a happy ending?
It is a happy ending. At the end, they make it rain.
That's awesome. Okay, I know you made it for a specific purpose, but are you thinking of ever kind of mass producing it or like selling it online or doing anything like that?
I did self-publishing. Actually, I printed the book.
Yeah.
It is difficult if you don't have the platform to sell. Amazon, I don't know why I couldn't make it work from China for me. But that's another thing, that if you're in China as a foreigner, you can have a credit card, and if you don't have a credit card, there is a lot of things that you cannot do online. And that's a big issue.
Even with Alipay and WeChat Pay?
I don't think Amazon... The Chinese Amazon does,
Yeah.
but I
haven't
couldn't
tried
make
to
it work.
separate.
Even to book the Airbnb, I get in difficulties to do it with the Alipay. Sometimes it doesn't accept.
Man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, we started getting issued like national ID cards. Do you have one of those newfangled things? Oh, it's great. It's a little ID card. It has a QR code. You can scan it and see all the information that everybody else can see when they scan your card. Can't use it for anything.
Is it?
Not a thing. Can't use it at the bank. Can't use it at any company to open or close any accounts or do anything. Can't use it when I come in and out of the country. It's completely useless. It's just another ID I carry around.
What's the point?
I don't know. I don't know if in the future it's going to replace the passport. I don't know. Because they can't put that kind of thing in foreign passports. Like they can't damage them that way. So I guess they wanted their own card to do stuff. But when I've had this kind of card in other countries, I could use it for things.
Yeah.
But this one, I've taken it everywhere and pretended not to have my passport, and I'm like, da, 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 and they're like,
you cannot do anything.
No, this doesn't mean anything. I'm like, why do I have this? But it exists, so who knows? Maybe in the future.
Yeah, so it is a big problem. If you don't have a credit card in China, it gets very difficult to do stuff. As a foreigner, you can have a credit card.
Yeah.
So it makes things hard for me. But going back to the things that I do for fun as a designer, there was a time that I was producing clothes, t-shirts. Yeah. Also.
Yeah.
Actually, that's the dream. To make design for myself.
Yeah.
But you don't make a lot of money with that, so it gets difficult.
Yeah.
My idea with the podcast that I'm hoping is to spread the idea that everybody can be creative, because it is true, everybody can be creative.
Yeah.
And I want the people who think they're not creative to have access to this information.
Yeah.
And I think the best way is to make people understand how things work. When you, like for example with a car, when you break it down and you see how every piece works, you understand better how the car works. Yeah. So it's the same with the brain or with the creative process. Yeah. When you break it down, yes, taking a walk in the park works, but why? Yeah, but when you relax your brain, the ideas flow, and then you can access memories, and you can. But there is a process. There is a physiological and psychological process that happens in there.
In the U.S., that is my base, right? There are a certain population of people that think if I'm creative, I'm vulnerable, I'd rather just go make money and turn all of that off. It's too hard to be that tapped into that thing I can't control.
Yeah.
What do you say to those folks?
I have an episode coming that is about creativity. Is the creativity being the biggest the biggest act of rebellion that anybody can have? You rebel against society, sometimes even against yourself, and there is a reason for that. I'm gonna explain it in the episode, but basically when you are creative, there is a lot of things that are telling you not to do that, not to be vulnerable, not to be ridiculous, not to be different.
Where? In the world? In your head?
In the world and in your head. You get these ideas implanted in your head from early in the school. Because when you're a kid, you go for it, and you paint the sky orange, and nobody's going to tell you. You have to be very mean to tell a 2-year-old kid the sky is not orange, you are an idiot. You know?
Have to paint in the lines. The tree cannot be bigger than the picture.
Exactly. So there is a point where it's cute, but when it stops being cute and start being wrong, that's when we start losing not the creativity. We start losing the confidence. Because of course you're gonna know at some point that you cannot make the house bigger than the tree.
Yeah.
But it is a process that every person have to go through. So in the school, I explained this in another episode. In the school, you have to perform, you have to excel in a short period of time. You have one semester to excel. You're not allowed to make mistakes, which are very important to learn.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to ridicule yourself. You're not allowed to be unfit. You have to have behavior. You have to have performance. You have to fulfill a lot of things that restrain you from being creative or from being free, basically.
So tragic. You did an episode on failure.
Yeah.
And I was kind of giggling the whole way through going, yes, thank God, yes. Like, you have to fail. You just have to. Failure's like a sign that you're doing it.
Yeah.
The more you fail, the closer you get to, well, maybe success and maybe not. But I mean, at least it means you're doing something.
But a lot of people are so afraid of failure that they don't even attempt.
But you can't not fail in life. I know that's a double negative, and I'm sticking to it. You can't go through your entire life and never fail at anything ever. Yeah. Just learning to walk. We fail a trillion times before we can do it. Like, you have to fail.
Yeah. And it's like I can tell my wife, our son, he walks, now he runs, but when he was learning to walk and he would fall, I tell my wife, don't pick him up. Let him get up by himself.
Yeah.
Don't go help him, don't go cry, no, my baby, no.
Yeah.
Let him, if he cries, you tell him, don't cry, it's okay, get up.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
And now he learns, he fall down, he get up, and he keep running, he keep playing.
Exactly.
But that doesn't happen, and that is another sign that's why for me this work that I'm doing is important, because I want parents to understand these things. I want parents to, even before you reach school, give independence to your kids and talk to them like they're adults, because they understand, they do know.
Kids are so smart.
They're very smart.
They're so smart. Oh my gosh, do you ever listen to the rapper, I guess he's called, Macklemore?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, he did this thrift store years and years ago that everybody knows. It's really funny. He's this goofy, tall, white dude he's a really good rapper, but he's goofy looking. He's just goofy. But he's got like this really fun personality. And so there's this YouTube channel that just showed up in my algorithm yesterday. And it was these kids, it's this whole channel where they have these like 7, 8, 9-year-old kids, and they sit around with whatever one either actor or musician or whatever is in the room, and they just ask them questions. And for 9 minutes, these really tiny children asked some of the most intelligent, honest questions to this random rapper that they didn't even know, because they're like not on the rap radar yet, generally speaking. They were like, I don't know who you are, but you sing. Okay, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it was the coolest stuff. And I was like, adults would be too afraid to ask those questions.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I find that a lot in China now. People in China, especially old people, older people, they grew up in a country that was closed. And they keep that inquisitive curiosity that is very childlike.
They're awesome.
So it wouldn't be, you shouldn't be surprised if an old person comes to you and just touch your hair or just staring at you. But, and it's very uncomfortable, but it's actually funny and cute because they're so curious and they just go for it, and just touch you and touch your skin and touch your hair. They're like kids. And this woman is 60, 50 something years old who's just curious and just grab you and touch you. That is, we shouldn't lose that.
I know.
Of course, we have to be appropriate. We're not going to be touching people.
Well, it depends on what you're touching.
Exactly. But for me, it's important for people to understand, going back to your question, that what these folks should do, understand that they're not at school anymore. And when you're an adult, you are capable of having more control of your life. Even when you're in a job that have the same restrictions. You have to perform well in a period of time, and you have to reach some goals, but you can allow yourself some freedom, some flexibility.
Yeah.
Because you are a big boy now or a big woman now, and you can find spots where you can be flexible with yourself and allow yourself to be ridiculous and to be free.
Ridiculous is awesome.
Yeah, being ridiculous is awesome. There is a campaign that I love from Diesel. You know this brand Diesel.
Yeah.
And they say embrace the stupid.
Yes.
And the commercial is so beautiful because it explains. It is a goofy song and it's just very visual, but explain how beautiful it is life when you're stupid.
Yeah.
How you allow yourself to be stupid and you're free.
Yeah.
And when you experience that at first hand, when you allow yourself to be stupid and you laugh and without fear of judgment.
And that quote-unquote stupidity and that kind of childish nature, anywhere I've been in the world, that's the thing that uses the least words and is understood by the most people. Well, that and love. But yeah. But
it's pretty much the same.
But just with all age ranges, like that can, like a 3-year-old will get it and start giggling, and an 80 or 90-year-old will get it. Like the whole range. Like that's the thing that most people can identify with and can communicate even without understanding exactly what you're saying.
And you see it because now people are so concerned about hoarding possessions and hoarding fame. Now we're so worried about the likes and the approval from other people.
People buy likes and followers now.
I was thinking about that this morning. I think that is like it's a horrible analogy, but it's like going to a hooker and ask her to love you, and you're buying.
I hadn't done that analogy, but it is buying love because we feel that we get the same endorphins, right?
Yeah.
We get likes and stuff.
Is that I don't like it. I don't like it.
It's weird. Like the first time I got because I started a YouTube channel last year, and the first time I got an email from someone advertising how many followers they could get me, I was like, wait, you can buy this stuff now?
Yeah.
And then ever since then, I'm looking at people's sites going, okay, you have 20 million people. Do you really have 20 million people?
Yeah, who cares? But a lot of people care. But what difference does it make? You having
for some people it's money. They do.
I can understand it in a company.
Yeah.
And there are different ways to do that. If you work in advertising and marketing, you're gonna find out there are companies that they build a group of ambassadors that push for their brand. That's different. That's strategy.
Yeah.
But for a personal, for a person, an individual to do that,
but individuals are now their own brands.
Yeah,
There's
and that's
so much weirdness going on.
That's another issue that I'm gonna touch.
Oh yeah, influencers is a weird world right now, but we got to get back online.
Yeah,
we got to get back online. So who's your audience then? Because it sounds like you want to reach some of the Chinese parents, but your podcast is in English. And I don't remember what your platform is. You said Anchor.
Yeah, Anchor.
Is that behind the firewall or is that accessible to them?
It's still accessible.
Still accessible for now.
You can expect it. You give it a few months.
Yeah, give it a few months. So who do you want to listen to?
My audience is not Chinese. Okay. Unfortunately, for me to have a Chinese audience, I will have to do the podcast in Chinese. Honestly, the podcast is so new. I have only 5 episodes on, and I'm still building an audience.
Yeah, but who do you envision it to? I know it could be very different than who ends up being your listener, but who do you think might be interested?
I would like to have teachers, parents. I would like to be parents, and university graduates, people who are just going for the world.
Yeah. Leave in that academic bubble.
Yeah. And break that, that shell they come out of the school with.
Yeah.
That at the age, any kind of age.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to figure out how I'm gonna reach that audience.
Yeah.
If ever, and how I'm gonna build a group of people. But one of the reasons why I started this also is because I was looking information for myself on how to be more creative and how to work with creativity. And most of the information that I found is very specific to the market. It's very specific. It's for artists and it's for managers and for people who.
That's a good point.
But for the common people, you couldn't find anything because creativity is for creative people.
Right. It's in that compartmentalized box. Yeah.
And it's wrong to begin with because you shouldn't be the creative. You should call it the creator. Creative are everyone. Everyone is creative.
Yeah.
It's like you want to make a distinction between, well, these ones are humans and these ones are less human.
There are some people that do that.
Yes, people do that and it's terrible. So that's the kind of thing that I want to avoid because I don't want to call the creative people the creative. I want to make a distinction. Creative is everyone. Everyone is creative because everyone is capable of creativity. Those who make a living out of creativity, they are creators. Because they produce work to make a living, to live out of their work. So they are creators. But creative is everyone.
Yeah.
And that's a distinction that we have to start making.
That is a really good point. So it's creatives and creators.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there was a moment in history where we artists, we kidnapped the term. And now creativity is for us.
Right.
And you, lesser human, you don't
Was
know.
it the artist or was it the people that wanted people to work and kind of turn off their fun and go be productive for the market's sake?
I'm still trying to figure that out, and I've been doing some research because there is for example, in China, there was a very specific group of people who would write Mandarin and read Mandarin. Not everybody could do it. Same thing in Europe. In the court, you will have somebody who will write.
And in the church.
In the Vatican, you will have the painter, and that's the guy who paints.
Yeah.
And the rest is just the common people.
Right.
That they just do whatever they do to keep living. So there was a moment that and I believe there is also a point when we artists we start losing our importance in history, and we need to grasp that importance. And we need to keep the.
How has the importance been lost?
I think it happens when people are not getting commissions anymore from the courts or from the rich people to make a portrait, and you have a mecenas or you have a patron that will support you. Yeah. And you are my artist, and I will pay you every month just to paint me and my family and my friends. And there was at the time these people were very, very important. They have a very good life.
Right. Would artists nowadays want something like that? It feels like at least Western artists, it feels like the ones that I've known wouldn't want that kind of dependency these days.
Not the dependency, but the level of importance that we had at that time.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because at that time, the artist was doing something relevant. Yeah. The artist at the time was recording history. Yeah. It was a point of reference. If the artist wouldn't make his work, we wouldn't know. Well, probably happened with the invention of photography.
Are you enjoying this conversation about our virtualness and our geographicness colliding? Me too. Hey, I would love to interview you. Do you live in a country that is not your home country? Let's talk about your experience. Let's do it. Contact me at stephfuccio, STEPHFUCCIO @gmail.com. Or you can hit me up on any of my social media platforms. I am Steph Fuccio on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. So contact me. Let's line this up. I would love to get your opinion into these questions out into the world. Let's do it. So I'm a huge fan of technology. when people diss technology for making us do blah, fill in the blank. Anything bad, it's the technology that did it. It's the technology doesn't do shit. We do stuff.
Exactly.
But it sounds like part of the problem is that technology and tools to create art have gotten too much in the hands of the people, and everybody's doing it, so the artists aren't getting the attention they need. Is that part of what you're saying, or am I making sure?
Yeah. For example, when you have photography, why would you need an artist to record the history? You know, so the artist becomes something decorative. It's not important anymore to make a record of history, or you know.
Is there such thing as too many viewpoints on a historical event? Like, if too many people are taking a picture of something really important that's happening, is that bad?
No, even when you have photography, everybody have their own point of view, and it's a different point of view.
Right.
A lot of people think that taking a picture is just a click, but there is a lot that photographers puts in his work when they're taking the picture.
Yeah.
And you can see it when there is good photography. You can see you can actually identify the work of the specific photographer in his work.
So with all of the, if we stick with the photography example, with all of the amateur photography online, how do we sift through all of that and give credit to the people who have fine-tuned their craft? How is that happening now? Is it happening now?
It is, but you see it now with Instagram. Instagram was a big hit. Because Instagram did what YouTube with video. Instagram made photography democratic, especially with the filters.
Yeah.
You know, now a crappy picture can look professional.
I'm a big fan of the filters.
Yeah.
I'm not.
But even with the filters, you can see a style. You can see like a person will have a trend, and will have a favorite filter that we use, and that respond to something very personal that this person have. Yeah. So it's like the truth. That everybody's gonna give you a version of the truth, their own version. Yeah. So it's the same even with photography. That it's so mechanical that you just push a button and the picture is there. Right. But there is the way you see things. There's the angle and the colors that you use and the treatment that you give to the picture. So you're gonna find if you're careful. Now it's getting more difficult. There's so much people doing it. Yeah. But you're gonna find there are specific things that make up photography very unique. Even if it's not professional. Yeah, because with the thing of trying to give the people that put the most time and effort and skill into their craft, and there being so many photos out there, how do you balance those two things? It gets more difficult. There's just so much. I mean, it's kind of a big problem with the internet in general. Is we'll probably look back 20 or 30 years from now, if not 10, and go, man, that thing was a mess. How could anybody find anything online? Yeah. Because it is a virtual mess. Yeah, it's an absolute and complete mess. If a library were organized like the internet, who would go? Yeah, exactly. You can't find it. I mean, you can find stuff, but is it the stuff that you need? Is it the stuff that you want? It's a mess. Yeah, I don't even know how we would get any work done without the internet before. It was so. Well, I remember when I was working when I just started working in advertising. Yeah. That we will browse. Yeah. Actual books for pictures. Oh yes. And you will go to the scanner with the pile of books, and then you expand the pictures, and then. But we didn't have Google Images, anything like that. No. 20 years ago, I'm so old. I did. Oh, you're old. I'm actually older than you, which I haven't told you yet. But yeah, no, I worked in a lot of different kinds of offices in different industries before I moved overseas, and a significant amount of that was with typewriters and phones and paper. Yeah. Paper and paper and paper and filing cabinet rooms. Just with tons of paper. But you know that. Oh my gosh. Now that we're talking about technology, I think we're reaching a stage that is quite critical. We are in a dark ages, I believe, because we are so dependent on technology that people forget that we are still evolving.
Yeah.
We haven't stopped evolving, and all these habits that we're learning right now, and all this technology influencing the way we behave and the way we interact with ourselves and with other people, they are becoming traits that you're gonna inherit in the future. And people don't believe. You remember the movie WALL-E?
I didn't see it, but I have
Disney?
heard of it.
Well, in that movie, they're supposed to be in the future. The planet is destroyed, and everybody's living in these huge spaceships. And you know how people live in those spaceships? They are sitting in chairs, floating chairs, obese, soaking a milkshake, a protein milkshake, and with a screen that keep you blind all the time, and you're just going in circles.
Yeah.
And
That's depressing.
that is so accurate.
What? You think that's where we're headed, honestly?
If we don't make a change, yes. People, for example, there was a survey recently here in Shanghai. Chinese people are forgetting their characters.
Yeah.
They don't know how to write the characters.
Yeah.
Why is that happening? Because we are writing only with the font. We're losing the ability to handwrite.
The literacy rate that is said to exist in China is pretty inflated. If you go to the countryside, you'll notice very quickly when you show things in Hanzi characters, no. The literacy rate is not 95 or whatever percent they say it is. Also, the characters are insane. Some of them have like 13, 14 strokes per character, 2 to 3 characters per word. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but we're talking about common use, daily use characters.
No, it's not. No. I've watched those videos. They're not commonly used characters. No. And this happens, I don't know if this happens in Spanish, but it happens in English all the time, where you have to, even before computers, I had to look up some stuff in a freaking paper dictionary because I forgot where's the E, where's the whatever, does it have this or does it have that? How do you spell that? I don't think this is just technology. I think this is more mass information that we've got on and offline.
We're consuming too much.
We're consuming too much on and offline, but it's not just online.
No, it's not just online.
I think we're overloaded.
Yeah.
I think we do too much. We work too much. We don't have the sense of play that I think you're kind of talking about with the creativity stuff.
Yeah.
We've completely overloaded. We've gotten very serious and.
We have people, more people that are depressed. And that comes from
and
that.
isolated.
Yeah, exactly.
We get wealthy. You can see it with like wealthier nations. They get wealthy. People start living apart from each other, and the depression rate starts to skyrocket.
Yeah,
it's so horrible. It's so horrible.
So there are studies that say that we are in the golden age of civilization, where we have absolutely everything we could need in terms of technology, and people say that we have a longer lifespan.
Yeah.
That we have our basic needs pretty much covered.
For a lot of people, they don't. For a lot of people, fresh water is still an issue. Sanitation is still an issue.
Well, obviously, they are not taking into consideration, but there is access.
Yeah.
It's like you said before. We don't have a scarcity.
Yeah.
It's just that all the resources are allocated in the wrong way.
Yeah. Very poor. Yeah.
But there is no scarcity.
There isn't.
There's no excuse for these people not having water or food or medicine.
No, and the whole thing of we're running out of land.
Exactly.
The world population, we just can't sustain it. There's still patches of land that are very, very inhabitable.
So I think that is the criteria that they're using to measure this. That we are in a stage and in an age where we have everything pretty much, everything we need covered, and yet we are the most depressed, the most disconnected, the most isolated, the most miserable.
Okay, so if we consider the technology that we're talking about just a tool, can we reach back in history? Well, let's do a thought experiment. Can we reach back in history and think of another time when there was kind of an explosion of information or tools or technology? Keep in mind, like pencils and paper was a technology at some point. It was a new technology. So is there any other time when there was such a surge in technology that it completely transformed how people lived?
The Renaissance?
I think, yeah.
Or the Industrial Revolution?
Yeah. And look what a mess we made then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The pollution in London was horrible.
And the diseases that came from that. And yet, there was that surge of bad crap that happened, and then it kind of pulled back. Are we going to do that?
So I think we are in that stage now.
Yeah. The pulling back stage?
That we're in the polluted, the convoluted, the problematic stage that we have to pull back.
Yeah.
But I do believe that the history moves in circles, in cycles.
Yeah.
And we reach the same point, probably at a higher level, but we reach the same point once and again and again.
Yeah.
And like you said, probably it's a moment for us to pull back.
Yeah. Will we before it's too late? Because the Earth will be fine. We'll destroy ourselves, if anything. The Earth will go on. We're not going to hurt it. We're hurting ourselves.
You have to ask to Al Gore what you think about that, because he's not very optimistic about it.
No. So I don't know. So what would pull back with this technology and the internet and all of our devices? What would that be? What would we do differently so we don't end up in those chairs, morbidly obese with screens instead of people around?
Well, I think that there is a new movement of people realizing that they're spending too much time sitting, and I don't know if you have noticed that there is a lot of people now, more people walking and worrying, and then people are, counting the steps, and I think that is a little bit. I listened to this guy, another podcast that is great.
Podcasters listen to so many podcasts.
There is this podcast called Tangential Speaking with Christopher Ryan. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Because he's like the no bullshit podcast,
Yeah.
And he says, I don't like when people say working out. I don't want to work out. Yeah. I want to exercise.
Yeah.
I don't want to work out.
I want to move.
And he said in America everybody's working.
Yeah.
And if you go to eat, and you are halfway through your plate, and the waiter comes and tells you, "Are you still working on that?" I'm not working, I'm eating.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't go to gym. I hate the gym.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to gym. I have to be bulk. No. But I want to go to the park and and ride a bicycle in the mountain and exercise.
Yeah.
He said that we're getting obsessed even at that point of doing that, of maintaining ourselves healthy.
Yeah.
It's also an obsessive thing. But still good. I mean, the more people are hiking and going out for walk, and I see a resurgence of that happening.
Good. Yeah.
And I that's one of the things that I want to encourage people, the same way they're trying to connect with nature. Because there's another doctor that says, not a doctor, he's a journalist. He wrote a book called, I owe you the name. It's not in my mind right now. But he basically suggests that all the problems that we have with depression, anxiety, and all these problems is because we have lost connection with who we are as humans.
And each other.
Because he himself suffered of depression. And he realized that the more pills he takes, the less this pill works. Yeah. So he was doing research into that, and he found out that there is no reason for us to be taking pills. Yeah. We just have to find ourselves and reconnect with who we are. Yeah. So he said that we need that connection, that creativity is a very important part of that connection. That's what I'm hoping to let people know that they have to reconnect with their creative side.
I'm gonna make you cringe right now. So, do you know the book Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert?
No.
Okay, good. It was a very, very popular book in a lot of places in the world, and it's this travel book where she goes to different, mostly I think autobiographical. She went to Italy to learn about food and just relax and the joy of life, and then she went to India to do like self-reflection, and then she went to Indonesia to do something else. I forget the whole thing. It was a really, really popular book. The author is a really, really poignant, creative, interesting person that takes a really interesting view on creativity. The book itself, I'm not a huge fan of her writing style when it comes to that, or fiction or some of the other things, but when she talks about creativity, it strikes a very big chord. She has a TED Talk about writers and creativity, and how writers have to, like, people have this idea that they have to sit alone and torture themselves to be, to produce this great work of art. And she's like, and this is when this shift happened to writers becoming the solitary, like creator and responsible for the stuff that, came out of them. That's when the writers started being like heavily addicted to all kinds of drugs and alcohol and committing suicide and all these other things, because it got disconnected from everything. Instead of it being a communal thing, or instead of it being connected to something greater, it became their responsibility to create this thing alone, silently in this room by themselves. Anyway, I'll send you the TED Talk. It's really, really good. She also wrote a book called Big Magic, which is mostly okay, except for chapter 5, which focuses on, it reminds me a lot of your podcast, it focuses exclusively on getting comfortable with your creativity. And the kind of the self-talk that we do with creativity, and to cut it the hell out because it's not working. Like, the one thing she says is, don't think of your creations as your babies, because then you'll never change them. You'll never, when it doesn't work, you'll feel like you are the failure, not that just didn't work at that particular time, and all kinds of things.
Yeah, that's another exercise that I do with my students. Sometimes I make them write something, and I just make them rotate. And this word doesn't belong to you anymore. 2 reasons. One is that you should not be attached to your creations. The second, you have to learn how to build from the creations of other people. Which is very important, because there's a concern that every artist has. Am I original enough? There's no originality. Every single work that it's been done and it's going to be done ever comes from somewhere else or somebody else. There's no originality, and people have to, because that's another thing that gives you pressure, and that's another big factor that inhibits your creativity. So don't worry about being original. And Picasso said it. Picasso said, great artists steal. I don't remember how I got, but it basically says that good artists copy, great artists steal. That's how it goes.
It's so true. And to learn a craft, you have to learn the basics from someone first, and then your own style comes out of it. But you have to learn the basics first.
So every single work of creativity, of creation, comes from somewhere. Influenced by somebody, or copied by somebody. You're gonna take somebody's work, and you're gonna put your own voodoo in it.
Something,
and
you
create
change
something
it or
new.
tweak it or do whatever.
And you change it as much as possible until you make it yours. But it's always going to be like that.
It seems like such a relief to think that, because then it's not just you have to do everything by yourself all the time alone. It's why? What do we do that's that isolated thing? We don't do it.
That doesn't happen.
It doesn't
Creativity doesn't happen. Isolated doesn't happen.
No, my most creative moments is when I'm walking somewhere, and that movement gets my mind thinking. Like, I'll have just put down a book, or I'll just listen to a podcast, and I'll start walking somewhere, and I'll go, and then I'll break out my phone to write it down so I can work on it later. But it's like, that's when.
And you get influenced by somebody else or something else that you see.
Or when I see something on the street or something. So, okay, before we wrap it up, so have you heard much from your audience yet? I know it's still a few episodes in.
I haven't. What are you people doing? Just don't send me emails.
It's
what am I waiting for?
It's a quiet medium.
Yeah,
quiet medium.
No, it takes time. I know it's gonna take time. It's just picking up. I only have less than 300 listens, and I'm expecting probably after the 10 episodes that people are gonna start I also think it's very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's gonna take a while for people to have the confidence to send me an email with something they wrote or some piece of music they created. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still, I'm gonna keep asking people and pushing for it until somebody, I'm, that day when that happens, that somebody send me something, somebody who's not an artist, send me something, it's gonna be a big celebration.
It's so beautiful. I loved hearing that stuff in your podcast, because so many podcasts are interview focused, and so many podcasts bring in really big name folks, and I like just talking to people. I don't want to say everyday people, because I'm not gonna push away an artist or somebody that has done something I find really moving. That would be ridiculous. But just somebody who does something, anybody who produces something and is just like, I've done this. Cool, there you go. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. They'll come.
And just the action of creating something. Don't worry about if it's pretty, if it's not pretty, if it's functional, if it's not, if the neighbor likes it or not, or you love it. No.
Yeah.
Only the fact that you move your hands and your brain to create something that makes it beautiful, whatever it is.
What are you doing to attract people to the podcast? Where are you posting?
Well, I'm pushing, I'm using all the platforms. I'm trying to use all the platforms available to post the podcast, and I'm using the website and Facebook, basically Facebook and Instagram. To push the podcast, and I have a community of 700 friends, 800 friends, something like that. It's pretty decent, and I'm hoping that these people would do the pushing for me. But it doesn't. I don't see results right now. But they have to build up. You have to. People have to get used to. Yeah, it takes time. People have to get used to. Even for me, English is not my mother language, so for me to produce a podcast in English is very difficult.
It's impressive, is what it is.
It's very difficult. It is awkward, to be in front of a microphone talking to yourself is awkward. It's something that you have to break. And another thing that I want people to understand is that I'm going through the same process. That the podcast is also helping me to grow and to break, because I have my inhibitions and my barriers to break. So this is a process that I want to do with people together. I want people to help me, and I want to help people, and we do this together. I don't want to be in the position of I'm the creative who knows all this stuff, and then you have to listen to me. No, not at all. So I think that in a way the awkwardness that you hear in my podcast and the difficulties probably with the vocabulary or the language or the accent, I'm so self-conscious on this stuff still.
It's almost impossible not to be self-conscious when it's you in a room alone with the microphone. I often face actually outside. I'll put the desk here and I'll face out. I'll stand up and face outside, so it at least kind of give me a sense that there's other people who might hear me somewhere.
Talking to something.
Because it just feels weird talking to a wall.
It is difficult.
But
I think this awkwardness reinforces this idea that I'm not an expert. I don't want to be an expert, and that's another thing that I stress. I don't like the expert position, because when you assume that you're an expert, you shut down yourself, and you assume that there is nothing else for you to learn, and that is terrible.
Ooh, which never happens.
Never happens. It's impossible.
It never happens. Things change, people change, situations change. No, I laugh when some places I've worked in the world, they'll have in Japan. When I worked in Japan, they had foreign language expert, and I was just laughing, going, never. No matter how good I am at analyzing or teaching language, never would I call myself an expert. That just, at work.
Although your resume is pretty impressive, I was checking.
What's that?
Your resume is pretty impressive, actually.
My what is it?
Your resume.
My resume? Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, I'm glad it looks that way. It doesn't feel that way. What am I going to do with all that education? I'm going to go overseas and forget about it. It's actually coming back around slowly. If I could get the 3 podcasts going,
Yeah,
I've got 2 more that I thought of last week. Yeah, my brain is. Yeah, too many years in academia. I was very, very methodical and putting all of my stuff into my students and into my research, and then like I left all of that mid PhD program and came to China and was like, I'm gonna take 6 months off and just work. And then I couldn't. I think I lasted until April. We got here in January, and in April my brain just said, no, I have to do something. I have to create something. And then everything just started. You can't keep the creativity out of the child, and just no. Yeah. Okay, one final thought. I know that your trajectory online and your trajectory in China are almost the same time period.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing this now because I literally do a timeline, as you can see. So one of my questions that I want to ask is, has the way that you've used the online resources changed since you've lived overseas? But I don't know if that's a valid question anymore.
Yeah, that's the thing, that when I was living, I lost my virginity to social media in China.
I was about to hit pause. I'm like, okay, I can edit, but okay.
Yeah. That's
Thank you for the sound clip. That's awesome. Wait, what is it? 26, 20? Yeah. You realize that's going to end up on Instagram as one of my teasers.
Yeah, I hope so.
Anyway, please explain.
Well, yeah, in China was probably because I've been living the longest in China.
Yeah.
But also when I was living in my country, or when I left my country, like I mentioned before, we just had YouTube, very new. I didn't know about Facebook. I discovered all this stuff, all these tools in China, and that's when I started using those. And also as a way, I think a lot of foreigners find it that it's a way to keep yourself connected to reality in a way, to your world, to your culture. And it's a very important way to keep yourself connected with your roots, with who you are.
Yeah.
And so in that aspect, it's very important. Another one is that for work, if you're not an expert, and I use that horrible word, in Chinese, it is very difficult. It's very difficult. In that aspect, China is for Chinese when it comes to social media. And I'm not talking about the language. You could be an expert, again, in Chinese, but there are these nuances, these cultural nuances, and the Chinese have a lot. The way they say things, that is very Chinese.
Do you think that's different in different cultures? Like, do you think people coming into Venezuela would think that if they were reading like social media?
Yeah, but you will get it in no time. You will get it.
As a Westerner, do you think if a Chinese person came to Venezuela and was like dipping into the social media and like talking to folks that they met in person?
No, I'm using as a reference between, for example, somebody from Spain go to Venezuela, or somebody from Venezuela go to Chile. Okay. That is happening a lot there.
Gotcha.
At the beginning, it's difficult. You have no idea what they were talking about, but then you get it.
Okay.
But from a foreigner coming to China, you have to spend, 15, 20 years here to get it, to understand what is it, how they speak, and why they say the things they say, and the jokes, and social media is a lot about that. It's a lot about the memes and the trends. It's about the local culture. So it's very. It's difficult.
It's intense.
If you're not local, it's very difficult in China.
Yeah.
If you don't get it.
One of my other podcasts talks to both folks learning and using Chinese and folks who grew up with the language. And one of the gentlemen that I know that has gotten to such a high level that he's not only studying the language still after years and years, but he's studying Chinese script. Like, that's how high a level. Like, he can read, he can function, he can talk, he can listen, he can carry on and all that. But he's actually looking at Chinese script, like just handwriting, like how to decipher that. Because that's a whole other different creature. Like, that's how high level it is. He's like, I can't read Chinese newspapers. There's so many cultural references here and there and everywhere. And he's like, I can't. So he actually reads the New York Times Chinese version. to keep his language reading skills up.
Yeah.
Because
it's like the most neutral.
That's like global kind of diaspora Chinese, so it's not just laced in this culture. Yeah, it's really...
So when we are not adding the dialects and the
and the slang and
and
that's just the standard.
And in China, that you have trends that Chinese people consume trends. Like it's unbelievable. And
well, it's tricky because you've got you've got English and you've got Spanish, which are used in multiple places in the world, and so you get used to the different versions of those languages, right? But then you've got Chinese, and you've got like 5,000 years of history and language and culture, and then you've got strong periods of isolation.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to make those
so it's very difficult.
Yeah.
And that all influenced the social media in China, so it's very difficult to access that.
Yeah.
So even if you are well read or you have a deep knowledge in Chinese culture and Chinese language, it still is difficult to be very active in Chinese social media.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Like I started, like Lychee is one of the podcasting sites in China, and I got help getting it all set up and stuff, and I started to put like a couple episodes there, and I was like, but thinking long term, I know there's a generation or two of folks that went overseas and came back and they're fluent and they could be my audience. It'd be interesting to have their perspective, but realistically, being able to navigate that site every time I have to upload stuff.
Even the way they design the websites is completely different.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You wouldn't know where to click or what to look at because it's
so, talk about being, I think they're rather messy. I think they're hard to navigate. They're not user-friendly.
It seems to work for them.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it does. That's a whole other conversation.
You see Taobao or any Chinese website, there are so many things flashing at the same time.
So many ads.
That you don't know what to read first. There is no criteria. There is no order. There is no.
But there's gotta be some order too. There must be some way. That'd be a really good question to ask someone at some point. I gotta get that on recording somewhere. Is what's the flow? Where do you look when you go on there? Because they're so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It was the same thing when I lived in Taiwan, and that was traditional characters, which is even worse.
More difficult.
Oh my gosh! And then the tiny font. Like 4 and 6 font, and it's like, wait, I can't even read that when it's 20 font. It's so many strokes.
Because they need that size to fit all the stuff it's unbelievable.
It's so hard. And I'm certainly not saying that the entire world should switch to all language, whether it be Spanish or English or French or even Chinese. It's just so challenging when you're moving to a different script and a different culture that's so
it's the cultural thing
intense,
that even in online there is a culture that's what works for them.
Yeah. I wonder what it takes to. Now you've got me thinking. I have to find somebody who navigates an expert that navigates that system. I don't know about understand, but navigates it, interacts in it, that kind of thing. Like I don't know many folks that do that, even though I do know a fair bit of folks that are functional in the language, if not rather high level.
That would be interesting.
It would be. Like I met one guy in particular who lives in Nanjing now, actually. And he reads like science fiction novels in Chinese.
Really?
Right? I consider that like pretty damn high level. Yeah. And I didn't actually ask him about mobile stuff. Or web stuff. Oh my gosh, okay. Well, I've already interviewed him twice though, so I don't know if I can do it a third time. But anyway, yeah, that would be an interesting thing too. To see and then to find out from the Chinese perspective, what do they think of the English websites? Are they too boring? Or the Spanish
maybe they think
websites
there's nothing here.
Yeah.
There's nothing for me here.
Yeah. Nothing's popping up. I don't know what to do.
I just go to another website. Nothing. This website's inactive.
It's too bland.
Yeah.
It's funny. My husband lived in Korea before we met. And have you been to Korea?
Never been.
Apparently there's a lot of fluorescent signs. And he's like, Koreans are the only people that go to Las Vegas and are unimpressed. Because they're like, yeah, it's just a street. That's what streets look like.
I don't see the colors.
So I really, really wonder what that would be like on both sides. Anyway, thank you so much, Ronald. This has been so wonderful. Yay. Do you have any final thoughts on the evilness of the internet? How it connects to what your online presence might be if you ever left China. Would you keep doing what you're doing now?
Exactly the same. Yeah. I will be in the same places and the same platforms. And And my suggestion or my final thought would be cautious. Be cautious because this could be like a drug. You know, we get addicted to likes. We get addicted to, and it can be depressing. We don't need another thing making us depressed.
Right.
So be cautious. Use it. Be wise when you use it. Use it as a tool.
Yeah.
Don't get used by it. You use it.
Absolutely.
Cautiously.
Yeah. It really, really is our choice. The tools are not doing it to us. We're kind of getting drunk on the newness of it, and hopefully that'll pull back at some point soon. I have heard people of doing like mobile-free weekends. Not in China, but in the US. Some people would just put their phones away for
it's becoming a thing, and it's great.
Yeah.
I do it because I have to do it. I have to spend time with my family.
I don't know if I could do a whole weekend. I do put my phone in other places, and I do turn it off for periods of time.
I don't turn it off, but I just ignore people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I've always been someone, even when I had like a pager and a beeper and all of those technologies, I was like, this is so that I can know if I want to. If it goes off, I don't have to reply right now. They don't know that I'm available or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to make that conscious choice. And I'm so not perfect. I have gone down more rabbit holes than I'd
but it's up to us. It's up to us to keep it on the bay and to keep it controlled.
Yeah. So pull back time. That's what we're facing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much. And I'll put in the show notes, I'll put all of the links to the stuff that we talked about, as well as the website that Ronald's working on, and all kinds of other stuff. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Virtual Expat. And special thank you again to Damon Castillo for the music, and to our special guest this time. If you'd like to be interviewed for this podcast, just send me an email or contact me on social media. In the show notes, you can find all my information, or you can just jot it down right now. Are you ready? Here we go. Steph Fuccio, STEPHFUCCIO, Gmail, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr. There you go. Contact me. Oh, also LinkedIn too. You know what? I keep forgetting about that one. Hey, thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to your questions, comments, feedback, any information, and volunteering to be on the podcast as well. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, on or offline.
Membership fees apply after free trial. Cancel anytime.
You know what's wrong with health and fitness? You weaponize it against yourself. Why didn't you go to the gym today? You're so lazy. Why did you eat that? You have no self-control. Stop it. At Beachbody, we think training and caring for your body in a way that works best for you should be about loving yourself. Let us help you without all the judgment. Here's how. Go to beachbody.com to claim your free membership and start feeling great.